The ClearPath Extension Kit for OS 2200 provides an environment which enables the ability to launch and control Linux programs securely from within the OS 2200. Let's take a look at some of the new capabilities granted by the Extension Kit and show how easy it is to transition between the familiar OS 2200 and the new environment. First, it may be helpful to take a look at where all the Extension Kit packages and files reside on the OS 2200. Using @sifsut to see the sifs root directory, you'll notice the familiar OS 2200 directory containing all the 2200 data and program files organized by qualifier, file name, element, and so on. New to the file system are the home directory, which will contain a subdirectory for every Extension Kit user. As is standard on Linux systems, the subdirectories are private to the user. You'll also see the temp directory, which is visible to every user. The bin directory contains mostly symbolic links to the real file locations of the many utilities provided by the Extension Kit. Most of those utilities will be in user bin. Library files can be found in lib64. The packages installed with the Extension Kit are sourced from OpenSUSE, and the package versions generally match those in the SLES level of the underlying sales system. The last directory of interest is proc. On a standard Linux system, the proc directory contains per process information, command lines and arguments, for example, and its contents are visible to all users. From the standard 2200 environment, you'll notice it's not even accessible. Its contents aren't visible. From within the Extension Kit environment, however, a user can see information for processes it has started. Process information for other users is not visible. The exception to this rule is that the sifs administrator can see everything in the proc directory. sifs provides file access to all Extension Kit files. Every file access goes through sifs, which has access to all 2200 files and enforces 2200 security mechanisms. Processes started within the Extension Kit environment cannot see and are not allowed to access files that exist on the underlying sales system. They run with the same credentials as the 2200 user that started them. Within a session, file ownership and attached ACRs are still visible. Essentially, ACRs are displayed as the group and the OS 2200 user ID is displayed as the owner. Any file on the 2200 is visible within the extension environment, and any file is visible on the 2200 outside the extension environment. The ability to switch back and forth allows for easy interaction between extension programs and the 2200 environment. @sifsut has the concept of a current working directory, which is, by default, a subdirectory under OS 2200 named after the user's project ID. When switching into the extension environment, that current working directory carries over. Inside the session, you can change your working directory, but it will not persist back when going back to the 2200 environment. @sifsut allows a user to attach a use name to files that are not in the normal qualifier, file name, element 2200 file hierarchy. For example, files in the user/home directory. After creating an alias, files can be accessed through common 2200 methods and utilities. Here, we'll just open up a Python script with @ed. The Extension Kit provides several different launchers called OS2200 Native Control Programs, or ONCPs, that initiate the execution of specific processes within the Extension Kit environment. Let's take a quick look at the Python and Java ONCPs. Python 2.7.14 and 3.6.10 are included in the first release of the Extension Kit. The @Python ONCP calls the 3.6.10 version by default. As you can see, the Python shell is the standard one from a number of different environments. Here's a simple Python script that uses the SSG module included in the Extension Kit. Let's use it to take a look at the installed products on the system. This script parsed the SGSs and produced a sorted list of all the products, levels, and modes installed on the system. Remember, in this scenario, the Python interpreter that was executed has been installed on the 2200. Nothing has been accessed from the underlying sales system. Next, let's try @Java. OpenJDK8 is included with the Extension Kit. Here's a program that dumps the system properties in Java. Let's take a look at the @NX ONCP, which can kick off any installed Extension Kit utility. For example, show your current working directory, then list its contents. The utilities and other programs like the Java compiler and Python interpreter all run on sale under the control of the OS2200. It is important to point out that any process you launch in the extension environment executes without any escalated privileges. Any program that requires super user privileges will not run. Python scripts, Java programs, and any of the installed utilities can also be kicked off from within @bash. A difference to take note of is that in @bash, you'll have all the capabilities of the Linux shell. For instance, you'll be able to use variables, piping between processes, redirection, and so on. Whereas, if a process is initiated from the NX ONCP, that functionality is not available. Here's a comparison of an ls-d command used with a wildcard. The command works under the bash because the shell does the expansion of all the wildcards. The shell is not invoked when executing a command with the @NX processor. We can still issue a command from a single line if we wish to by using the /-c option with @bash. The other thing to be aware of is bash's handling of file names containing the $ character. Notice the quotes around some of the file names. And when we try to use a file name in a command, we get an error. In Bash, this character denotes a variable. In this example, it is telling Bash to evaluate edit as a variable. So, to use file names with $signs in them, just enclose the name in a quote or escape it with a backslash. The list of capabilities provided by the Bash shell is immense. It would take quite a long time to demo them all, so let's just take a look at a few. The man pages for all of the utilities installed within the Extension Kit are available in the Extension Kit environment. Let's see how easy it is to manage large amounts of output by piping the output to the less utility, shown here using the products.py script. Or to redirect the output to a file. In fact, the entirety of Bash's scripting capabilities are made available by the Extension Kit. So to go along with the Python scripting on OS 2200, we now have Bash scripting as well. Here's a Bash script that the Extension Kit development team uses to build one of its components. It can be run on either standard Linux OS or within the extension environment on OS 2200. The Extension Kit project makes use of both Python and Bash scripting in its builds and testing environment. Let's talk a little bit about Grep. Grep is a powerful utility that searches for text patterns in a file or group of files. Here, we'll do a recursive search of the files in the Extension Kit project for the case-insensitive fixed string npcd_start. The output of Grep will be the file, line number, and line for each occurrence of the string. You can see that Grep is a bit like IACUL. However, Grep allows for the use of regular expressions, customized search patterns ranging from trivial to extremely complicated. Let's change to the uppercase E option on the Grep command to specify a regular expression search pattern. The search pattern this time is for either the string npcd_start or npcd_stop. Here's a pattern that's a bit more complex. Search for the string starting with ER_ that has between 1 and 6 alphabetic characters following it. With the Extension Kit, both developers and system administrators can use regular expressions for powerful search and replace operations to quickly make changes across large numbers of files. We can also use the du utility to see how much space is taken up by each directory. We've shown you just a few of the utilities provided by the Extension Kit. And as you can see, from a system administration perspective, a lot of new flexibility comes to the OS 2200. New users may even find these Extension Kit utilities easier to use than the rich set of existing OS 2200 utilities and tools. And there you have it, some of the new powerful capabilities enabled by ClearPath Extension Kit for OS 2200. Now available with Release 19.0, where we are securing your tomorrow today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.